Hi everyone. I just came across some old material that I wanted to do as a response video to somebody that I try to watch on YouTube. I don't watch all of his videos, but somebody I respect a lot, and I was going to do a response video to his video of the 5 best places to eat on a budget in Tokyo. I'm referring to Chris Broad, or Abroad in Japan, as he's known on YouTube. And he listed 5 places: Otoya, Gusto, Tendon Tenya, Ippudo, and Yoshinoya, as his 5 best recommendations for a good value meal in Tokyo. Now, it's been quite a while, and this video might be a little bit redundant, but I'm doing it anyway. Um, I'm doing it now because it's something I did just before doing this, but I'll get into that in a different video, I guess. Um, Prior to even knowing about Chris Broad, even before he existed on YouTube at least, I had already tried Gusto. I um, I went there in 2007. Um, and at that time they were sometimes badged as Gusto or Gusto Skylark, but now they're pretty much just Gusto. I went to a Gusto with my ex-wife. We were married then, but I went to a Gusto with my ex-wife, and I tried their stuff, and I thought it was pretty good. I don't remember how much I paid, but it was pretty good. So then in the modern era, as you might call it, um, there's 4 left. There's 4 options left. The first one I tried was Otoya. They have one of those in Hachioji. And so I was very ready to try it, based on Chris's recommendation. I knew how to find it, I knew where to go, no problem. And I went, I had the chicken nanban, and it was very good. Very good, very reasonably priced. Um, of the 4 remaining, actually, of the 5 overall, Otoya was probably the best. So then my sequence of reviews chronologically went downhill from there. The next place I tried, I think, was the very next night. I went to Tendon Tenya, which is a kind of a strange name because in English it looks like they're saying tendon, and that's a part of Asian cuisine, beef tendon. And if you're not used to it, then you're probably not going to go there because you think they serve tendon. They don't. Tendon just means tempura and rice. Don means a rice bowl, and tendon is short for tempura rice. And then Tenya is just the name of the guy who started the chain. So I went in there and I got one of their, I think I got one of their soba tendon, or sorry, soba tempura mix, and I got a whiskey highball. Whiskey highball, never had one before, never gonna have one again. That stuff can stay in the can. Uh, the meal itself, the noodles were great, the soba was great, but I found the tempura a bit oily, which was a bit surprising to me at that time because apparently this Tenya guy invented an automated tempura process. Wasn't working for me on that night. I found it very oily, and I think I caught some sort of flu bug from somebody else in the restaurant that night. because on that trip I was pretty much down for the count, and I did not get to try Ippudo on that trip. I have tried Yoshinoya at a couple different locations. The first location was in Hachioji at Hachioji Station South Exit, Minamiguchi. And they're famous. They're famous. Everything is supposed to be served within 1 minute of ordering. If you're somebody who can't read Japanese or is still learning Japanese and you order the wrong thing, you get the wrong thing within less than a minute. That said, my biggest problem with the location was that it smelled like damp soil. It smelled like my grandmother's old garden that was, had all kinds of things going on with it, and it just had this pong about it, I should say. It was that kind of a smell. It wasn't really something you could put your finger on, but there was an overwhelming stench. The other thing that happened when I went to Yoshinoya, and full disclosure, I've been there twice, but on the first visit, I went to put the dressing on my salad, and I opened the burst pack for the salad dressing in the wrong way, and it actually splashed up into my face. That's on me. That's my fault. But it sort of makes me think that I don't want to go to Yoshinoya again. So I did go back to that same location, and I ordered the wrong thing, and just had to deal with it. Just muddle through. Don't say anything because I don't know how to say it anyway. But I haven't been back to that Yoshinoya location since. I found one on the north side of Hachioji, but I haven't tried it. I might try it one day. It's just me and my bias. And when I was stranded, I felt like I was stranded anyway. When I was forced to use Terminal 2 at Narita Airport, I went to some restaurant, not even realizing it was Yoshinoya until afterwards. I went there to their location at Terminal 2, and it was the dirtiest restaurant I've ever seen in my life. And I don't mean like from like grime on the floor or around the doorways or on the tables. I mean just trash lined up and not being cleared. You have to bust the table yourself and take your tray back to a certain location. Nobody was clearing those trays. There were other people eating in the restaurant who, instead of adding a little bit of soy sauce to their rice at the condiment station, they were taking the condiment station back to their table. And that kind of pissed me off because when they left, they didn't even bust their tables. It was a big group, and they weren't very respectful. And so, back to Tendon Tenya and me getting sick. I had to bail on any more investigations in response to Chris Broad. So I didn't get to try the final of the 5 Ippudo until my last trip. And that was really quite nice. I mean, it was in a food court, or not really a food court. It was a whole bunch of different restaurants on the floor of a shopping plaza, but they had their own seating areas. So it's not like when you go to the food court at the mall and everyone just sits in the same general seating area. The one thing I will say is that the restaurant next to, or the bakery, it was like a bakery cafe type deal next to the Ippudo, had very loud piano music. And the only reason I didn't hate it is because the music was actually good. It was just a little too loud, you know. If you're trying to get that relaxing experience, you might want to turn the music down a little bit. Um, the ramen I ordered ramen and a side of gyoza. The gyoza were not the best I've ever had. The ramen were great. It was spicy ramen, but the texture of the ramen was excellent. Um, I thought you had to order all the toppings. I didn't realize that there were certain toppings that came by default. So I spent a little bit of extra money and got like egg and pork slices, and those already came as default. I didn't have to order those, so I just got extra egg and extra pork. It was really good. The one thing I really didn't appreciate about Ippudo was the rooibos tea that they gave you at the start of your meal. They give it to you in a tinted glass, so it looks like water from the outside, but when you drink it, it's definitely not water. It's not even mugicha, like barley tea. It's rooibos tea. And I used to sell that stuff for a living, and I hate it. I'm sorry to rooibos fans and people that, drink herbal tea on a regular basis, but for the life of me, I can't stand rooibos. So anyway, the chillness on the rooibos was very nice. I'll give them that, but I would have just rathered ice water. Um, so I think in my overall rating for Otoya, Gusto, Tendon Tenya, Ippudo, and Yoshinoya, I would say Otoya stands up heads above the rest. Gusto, I don't even really consider Gusto to be in the same criteria as these other four restaurants, um, just because they're part of a jacked up network that can serve whatever they want. But Gusto would be second. Ippudo would be third. Tendon Tenya would be fourth, and Yoshinoya would be fifth. I have to say, maybe I visited Gusto in whatever um, form they want to advertise themselves, because they have very many different brands and a lot of them are tied together. I've probably visited Gusto the most, Yoshinoya the second most, and then Otoya just once, Tendon Tenya just once, and Ippudo just once. That said, Ippudo is a ramen restaurant, and I go out of my way to avoid ramen restaurants when I'm in Japan, at least until my last trip. I made a conscious effort on that trip to eat ramen at places I could feel confident about. Anyway, that's my response to Chris Broad's recommendations. It's like 3 years, 3 years into the future, or 3 years later, so it's not really relevant. He probably doesn't even remember making that video. Um, but he's the guy I really admire. And if you're a first-time traveler to Japan, or going to be a first-time traveler to Japan, Chris, um, Chris is a really good resource. He likes um, to entertain in his videos too. So he's not a guy that's just going to sit there and spit facts or spit opinions. He's gonna be a little bit melodramatic, I guess. I don't want to say camp, but he's gonna ham it up. You know, he's a bit of a comedian. So if you're not into that, then maybe Chris Broad isn't the guy for you. But yeah, for me, I respect him a lot. Okay, good night.